Rivka Blau is the daughter of Rabbi Mordechai Pinchas Teitz, a prominent rabbinic activist and chief rabbi of Elizabeth, New Jersey. In 1961, she was vice president of Yavne, one of the first Orthodox student organizations on American college campuses.
Our mission statement was that we wanted to promote Jewish learning and Jewish observance on campus, and that we wanted to, I don't remember the exact wording, but that we wanted to enable people who want to know more about their Jewishness to find out, but we knew we had to know more if we were going to be that kind of a presence on campus. It was essentially Jewish learning, Jewish observance, and not to feel so alone. And that if people wanted to learn more, we would be available to help them. Those were pretty much that was the essence of the mission statement. And at that time we already had, I think, between 13 and 15 college groups involved. And we also had isolated students in different places. At Rutgers we had 3 or 4 students. At the University of Pennsylvania we had some students. Now, at that time, the Lubavitch Rebbe had a representative who would come to Columbia and who got friendly with the president of Yavne, Joel Levine. And this young man, his last name was Feller, told Joel and me, well actually he told Joel first and then Joel told me, that he wanted to meet with 2 officers of Yavne and to talk to us about how we had gotten started and what we were doing. Our appointment was for 10 o'clock at night, so we came to 770 Eastern Parkway at 10 o'clock at night, and we were asked to come in to see the Rebbe at 12 o'clock, because there were many, many people there waiting to see him. And when we came in, he greeted us in a very friendly way, and I brought him regards from my father, and he sent regards back, and it was really very, very friendly. And then the Rebbe gave us our choice of what language we should conduct the meeting in. And when he started saying languages, he was smiling because he knew that it was funny. And out of the different languages he offered us, I think when he reached either Russian or French, I forget where it was, but we decided English would be the language that we would choose. And he smiled and he said, fine, we'll do this in English. And he asked us many detailed questions about how we had started, how we had found each other, what we were finding on campus, what were the problems, what were the possibilities, what opportunity was there for people who were interested in finding more about their Jewishness, how could we reach them, what do we find worked well, what we found did not work. Very, very to the point questions. At the end he said, well, I've asked you a lot of questions, would you like to ask me some questions? And I had no questions to ask of the Rebbe. I thought that this was a wonderful meeting that we had just now had, and I said, no, thank you. And the fellow who was with me said, well, yes, I've spent a Shabbos or 2 here in Crown Heights, courtesy of this young man that I know from Lubavitch, and I hear all kinds of wonder stories about you. I hear that you know better than the doctor whether there should be surgery or not. You know better than the lawyer which way to proceed with a case. Do you know more medicine than the doctors? Do you know more law than the lawyers? I mean, what kind of thing is this? So the Rebbe smiled, and he said, you know, when a house gets built, the architect draws up a blueprint. He gives the blueprint to the contractor, and then the contractor tells the plumber how to do the plumbing, the mason how to do the masonry, the electrician how to do the electricity, the electrical work. He said it's not that the contractor can do it better than everybody, but he can read the blueprint, and that's why he can give the instructions. So he said, Hashem istakel ba'oraiso vara alma, the blueprint of the world is the Torah. So somebody can understand Torah, he can tell other people what they have to do within their own métier. So I thought that was a beautiful answer, and I was ready to go. But unfortunately, this young man had another question. And at this question, I blushed. I was really very embarrassed. And the Rebbe just smiled because, again, this was not a difficult question for him. But the young man was persistent, and he said, yes, yes, but I hear all kinds of wonder stories about you and really almost miraculous stories about you. Can all these stories be true? So the Rebbe laughed, and he said, you know, if they're telling stories about me, they figure I know these stories. So I have no idea what stories are being told. I can't vouch for a single one of them. I can't verify them for you. However, and then he gave us a list of misnagdim, who are great people. He said, if you ask me those stories about A and B and C, well, those I have read in Svarim. I've read them in books that I trust, And those stories about the wondrous things that they did, those stories you can trust. So trust those stories, and I would have to check out the stories that are being told about me. It was such a wonderful answer. And he said it with a smile.